Hey guys, it's Tamara Bennett from Southern Adornments Decor. I am live today with Miss Pam Savage from the Painters Clubhouse. Hello, Miss Pam.
Hello, Miss Tamra. Hi.
Miss Pam has been a part of our community for a long time now. I was thinking back, Pam, did we meet for the first time at SA Live in 2019?
Yes, and let's see. Yes, and I joined the membership in 2020.
Okay, yes.
So yes,
Yeah.
I've only missed one, I think, of your live events. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
they're, they're so addictive. I mean, you just if you go to one, you're hooked. I mean, it is such a community, um, so much fun that I have committed to going on the cruise that you're now going on. And if you know me, any of you that follow me know that I'm terrified of cruises. I'm not terrified of the water, but of the sharks. And cruise was not in my scope at all to do, but that's how much fun her events are and the clubhouse people are. I mean, I'm willing to go on a cruise to be with them. So that's how fun it is.
It's going to be a blast. We're going to do some cruising and seeing Mexico, but we're also going to do some crafting together, and it's going to be a great time. I bet your family was shocked to hear that you had signed up for a cruise.
Well, I haven't told my mother yet. I'm not going to tell her until 2 weeks before. She will have a panic attack. But all of my other family, they just couldn't believe it. And some of them have been on one and said, "You're just going to love it. It's so much fun."
Good. Well, give us a little bit of background information on you, Pam. Tell us a little bit of like what life was like leading up to you and I meeting. I know you're a grandma. What did you do before the clubhouse? Like, because the first time I met you, I remember you saying, I've never painted a door hanger before, but you seem very artsy crafty. So I need to know your backstory.
Well, I started crafting with Mod Podge when I was 12 years old,
Wow.
and it never really painted. And then when I was about 25 or so, I painted a t-shirt at a college course.
Okay.
That's when my love for painting started. But I did like little jewelry and some shirts and some things like that. But I'd never painted a door hanger, something on that magnitude. Like the
Hmm.
one behind me is one of your patterns that I did. I'd never done anything that big.
Yeah.
And I was I've been painting lots of things, but on different surfaces, and I still do. I like to kind of think outside the box and paint different things, but I have been kind of out of the loop for a while. I worked in the school system and then went for to work at a bank and then had a daycare in my home and but I'd missed painting and I just felt I painted, but not everybody else. We didn't have paint parties and things like that,
Right.
a community. So I painted, but I didn't have anybody to really talk to about it. And I was scrolling late one night on YouTube and saw you painting in the closet, I think is
It
what
was
you.
kind of a storage room, and I had carved out some space in there for me, and it became a need because if you remember, I started all this when Charlie was a baby, and
Mm-hmm.
she had become to the point where she was grabbing anything and everything to get she could get her hands on. So keeping all of my stuff on a cart and kind of wheeling it in and out of the dining room was no longer working. I had to be able to shut and lock a door so that she couldn't get into anything. So I kind of carved out some space in a storage room and I started doing my Facebook Lives in there for a while.
Well, that's where I first saw you. And after the very first video, that I saw, your personality just grabs you, to begin with, because you're so sincere about what you're doing and you're so happy to share it with everybody else. And that's what I picked up on more than the painting itself was your personality just instantly.
Hmm.
And so I started watching old videos, going back and watching, some other ones. And I got so excited. You started talking about the community and others and how excited they were. And I thought, like minded people all in one place on here, and I was so excited. And I just haven't looked back. I mean, it has literally changed my life and I have my own business now, and that's because of your encouragement and the people in Clubhouse, Painters Clubhouse are so encouraging. I mean, if you have a question, put it on there, and I guarantee you within 10 seconds, you're going to have 50 answers, to something. And
Yeah,
so it's just been wonderful. It has. Even my husband's into it now. So he's,
I
oh,
love
is that your
so
buddy in
supportive.
there out here?
I love that he's so supportive of you. So what made you decide to come to that event, even though you'd never painted a door hanger? Was it the need for the community or something
The
else?
need for the community, the need to meet you in person. I was just so excited, and heard a little bit about your family through some things that you had said on here. And I said, I've just got to meet these people, but I did want to meet all the other people, and I'd never done anything like it. I was terrified to come to the first one. I was so nervous. I said, I'm not going to know anybody. And, I can't paint like all these other people. What am I doing going to this thing? I'm here and they're all up here. And within 15 minutes in that room, all of my anxiety disappeared.
Mhm.
It was gone. It was the most welcoming group of people. They were all feeling the same way I was, but we all got together, and within minutes, it was just a fun place to be. And there was no competition. Nobody was comparing, well, look what I can do. Well, look what I can do. No, everybody was so just into what everybody was doing, but in an encouraging way. It was just a family instantly.
Well, I remember walking by your table and being really impressed because I think you'd brought some buttons or something with you and buttons
I've
for the
always
art
got
project.
embellishment. Yes.
And she was like gluing buttons onto this cute door hanger that she'd done. And I was like, that is so cute. Where did, and I thought she had been, painting door hangers for a long time, just by judging off of what you were doing there. But it makes sense now that you say that, you'd already been kind of Mod Podging things. And so you were
Mhm.
already really comfortable embellishing things and making it your own. And I also noticed right away that you and the person next to you, I can't remember who it was right now, but you guys were already chit-chatting like you were long lost best friends.
Oh, I mean, from that very first live event, I have made so many friends. And at each one after that, I mean, friends that I talk to sometimes on a weekly basis. And I don't care what state I go to, if we're on vacation or just taking a little trip, every time since I went to the first live, I have met somebody that's a Painters Clubhouse sister.
That is so
And
cool.
yeah, and not on purpose. I don't look them up. We just write, they'll look at me or I'll look at them and go, you look so familiar, or that name. You're a PC sister, so it's everywhere.
Yeah. How did being a part of the Painters Clubhouse help you build your confidence in your painting skills?
Watching everybody else paint and learning, because I don't care how long you've been painting or how good you are still going to learn things.
Hmm.
You learn every time you get on a new video, or go through everything in Painters Clubhouse. And I still haven't been through everything in Painter. There's so
There's a
much
lot.
available to you, that there's never an end to it. There's always something there. But
Mhm.
um, it encouraged me to see that other people struggled with some of the same things that I did with painting, and so many different techniques that I had never seen before. Well, like this one here, I'll show you this one I'm working on. This simple little dry brush technique. I don't know if you can see that or not, just on the boot
Yes,
here.
that's beautiful.
Um, Look at the difference that makes. I learned that by watching somebody here in Painters Clubhouse. I've learned so many tips that have helped me with the things that I was already doing, but they
Hmm.
showed me smarter, better ways to do it. Uh,
Hmm.
and I've helped with some tips that I've put in. So it's just a back and forth all the time. And to see other women, going through some of the things that I've gone through, it just really helped my confidence. Um, your attitude in here has always helped my confidence, and it's a more than just a club. It is a family. And with Tamara, what you see is what you get. She's so down to earth, and what is you're saying, community over competition. That
Hmm.
is not what her clubhouse is about. It is about helping each other, being there for each other, just something to feel good about. And it's just wonderful. I've not regretted 1 minute of it. Never, never looked back.
Thank you for saying that. I do pride myself on the community that we have built. It's definitely a safe space for a lot of women who maybe have been a part of crafting groups in the past that didn't quite feel as welcoming, or they felt like they were gatekeeping some of their painting secrets or whatever.
Mhm.
And the Painters Clubhouse isn't like that at all. If you want to know how somebody accomplished something on the project that they did, sometimes they'll turn around and make a video for you if,
Yeah.
or they'll just explain what they did. And so you're one of those really great people who has taught a lot of projects in the clubhouse. She's taught us a lot about shading, and you have a very distinct style. That when I see your projects, I know that's a Pam project. And so, will you show us a few more projects that you've got sitting around? Because you do a
Yeah.
lot of things that aren't necessarily door hangers.
No, let's see. Here's if I can get it off. This is a clipboard that I
Uh-huh.
got at Dollar Tree, I think, and turned it into a teacher.
That is so precious.
So clipboards. Here's a Kleenex box that we just finished. You just clean up Kleenex box cover. Now this is Mod Podging napkins. I learned that at your first, I believe, the first live event in Nashville where we had what's her name, Tracy.
Tracy
Tracy
Pounds from
Pound,
Pittsburgh.
yes, taught us. So that's Mod Podge and a little bit of paint on there. So I learned that
And of
from
course, you took to that like a duck to water because you've been Mod Podging since you were
oh
a
my
kid.
goodness, yes, since I was 12, but I didn't know about napkins. I was doing other things, and now, well, this one that I just showed you through somebody in your group, I don't remember, but that is fabric up here.
Oh, I thought it was
So
scrapbook paper. That is
nope,
so cool.
fabric. So you can Mod Podge just about anything. I just painted some really cute aprons. So I do a
Mhm.
lot of fabric. All right, let me reach over you here. This is one of your patterns that I got out of shopdoorhangers.com. Just I think we did this one. I did this one live at Dallas.
In Dallas in 2022.
Yeah, when you've been to so many, they all start kind of
I
blending
know.
together. That tells you that how many I've been to. But that's one of yours, and that's just some little dotting with a little daughter, and most everybody's got the little stylist daughters to do those things with, and so just a lot of different things that I will do metal. I've done a little spinning thing on wood that was a out of the office thing, and I redid that. Charlie ended up with
Charlie
that.
has that. It's in her bedroom.
Yep, she
Um,
came over and she's, Miss Pam, I would really like to have that. How can you say no to that face?
she'll charm anything out of your booth if you're not careful.
Oh, well, she had David, Mr. Pam,
Yeah.
wrapped around his finger. I wrapped around her finger. I'm telling you, she's
Yeah.
just kind of part of our household. She's our good luck charm.
Speaking of your vendor booth, at what point did you start selling your creations? Was that always the goal, or did it just happen naturally?
I started 23 years ago, I think. I started a craft show in our high school for the band program
Okay.
and for the community, and it is still going strong. So I started it as a fundraiser. We had, I think we had 9 vendors the first time. We
Hmm.
now have nearly 80 vendors. And
Wow.
so I was the coordinator for that for 19, 20 years. And my kids have been out of school for 7 years and I was still doing it. But so I started there as far as selling.
Yeah.
And that has been, let's see, nearly 80 booths last year. And then I still have my booth every year in it. So I still, just because it's such a great community thing, community get togethers. And I really do a great job selling in it. I love it. But just the community coming out and seeing everybody. And so I hand out my business cards and I'll tell them about the paint parties. And so I've gotten a lot of business just from that one little booth.
Yeah. I'm impressed that you kept doing it long after your kids were out of school, and you were the coordinator for 20 years. That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, I have a love for, if you've known me for any length of time at all, you know that I have just a love for children, all ages. I worked in the school system for 7 years. And first thing David told me when I told him I got the job, he sat me down. He said, okay, you have to understand it is illegal to bring other people's children home. You cannot bring these kids home. And it was hard. There were some that wanted to come home with Miss
Wow.
Pam, but I've just always had such a love for kids. So in my booth, I've always got something for kids to do while their parents shop. And, that they just keep you young. And I adore them.
Yeah. That's really special. And that's a really great idea too, to have something in your booth for the kids to do while the parents shop. Love
Something
that.
little, it doesn't have to be something big. Let me grab something right here and show
Okay.
you right quick before you have to step away. I didn't even think about it.
It's okay. I get to see your cute little chair. I bet you Mod Podged that cushion on there or something too.
No, I didn't.
So cute.
All right, let me grab it here. This is one simple little thing. Now, the kids didn't do these, but that craft show is in October. I mean, the end of October, November, 1st of November. So I always have some little something. So they had candy corns
Uh-huh.
that they can do. And then I'll have a sample for them that they can do. And then I had a bunch of them left over. So, and I don't have the Santa Claus one. So I turned them into snowmen. I did snowmen and gingerbread men faces and then Santas on them. So if it's got a shape to it, I'm going to paint on it. Just here's
I've
a
seen your wooden spoons and other things that you've painted too.
yeah, here's a heart, and so I just made an apple out of it.
So cute.
So I don't throw anything away. I try to keep it organized and so I don't look like a hoarder. But if it's laying around very long and has a surface on it, I'm going to put some paint on it. I just can't resist.
I love that. Yeah, I've seen you've done like cutting boards and maybe a pizza pan or two. You've painted
Pizza pan, I've done metal flower containers. I don't know, a little bit of it. Windows, I used to
sold a
paint
lot of hats at the last
a
event,
lot of
well, in
hats
Destin.
and old antique windows. I love painting on those. So I've done a lot of those.
Yeah.
Uh, and just a lot of different things. And I've learned so much in the Painters Clubhouse of, seeing other women paint on things and make things that I never thought about. So there's always fresh ideas in there.
What would you say to somebody who's watching this and maybe thinking, I'd love to try painting, but I don't think I can do that?
I hear that all the time. One of the, let's see, I believe it was last year, I had a paint party and one of the girls brought her mother. Her mother came in with an attitude. I mean, just negative, terrible attitude. And so I spoke to her and everything. And her first words to me were, I just want to let you know, I did not want to be here today. I didn't intend to come here today. My daughter made me come here today. And so don't expect anything out of me. And I said, well, okay. I mean, that's all right. And inside I'm like trembling, you
Mhm.
know. So by the end of the day, she was laughing, cutting up with people. She was actually painting. And she came over to me before they left. And she said, I just want to tell you, look what I did. This was the best day of my life. Those
Oh,
were her words. And I'm going from what she came in with to the attitude she left with. She was so excited and proud of herself for what she did. And she'd never painted before, but she owned it. It was hers and she
mhm.
did it. That's what fuels my fire,
Yeah.
keeps me going, is to see anybody. If you can paint your fingernails, you can paint. If you can color in a coloring book, you can paint. And most of us that teach paint parties teach you step by step. And you're going to see every time you paint something, you'll see yourself getting a little better and a little better. But anybody can do it. If you can fill in a coloring book or if you can paint your fingernails, you have no excuse. You can do it.
Well, before I started teaching painting and painting door hangers, I was going to like those little like canvas painting classes in my hometown. And I was
Mhm.
never really, really proud of anything
Like
that I
painting with a
did.
twist and things like
Yeah,
that.
kind of
Yeah.
like that. But I was never like really proud of anything that I painted there. And the only thing I can figure out that might be the reason for that is I'm putting so much pressure on myself to create a work of art in that situation.
Hmm.
Whereas door hangers is so accessible. Painting on little cutout candy corns is so
Yeah.
accessible. It doesn't feel high pressure. It doesn't have to be fine art. It's fun art, it's different.
Well, that's what I've learned. If anything that I've taken away from the clubhouse is, that has helped me is I've just kind of,
Mhm.
it is fun. When it's not fun anymore, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
If you are pressured, now, I mean, there's going to be times when you're trying something brand new and you're scared,
Yeah.
to try it. But if you're not enjoying it, you're just not doing it right because it is therapy. And in the Painters Clubhouse, that is just every day you get that feeling and somebody reminds you, hey, wait a minute, this is for fun. This is not something that you need to feel pressured about or get down on yourself about. Everybody is painting at a different level. Everybody that is a fantastic painter started with their first stroke. They weren't always a fantastic painter, and you may never get to the what you consider a fantastic painter. That's okay. It's
Yeah.
just as long as you're having fun with it. So that's what I've learned in Painters Clubhouse. I'm so much easier on myself than I had ever been. And if you would have ever told me that I would be doing something technical like this, where we're doing a Zoom call, I am not a technical person. That terrifies me. But in Painters Clubhouse, I now do lives with my business because of the encouragement I've gotten from so many of the women and just watching others in there. And that's what I mean when I say it's changed my life. I do things now that I never would have done before I joined the group because of the encouragement and the help and oh, you need help with that? Well, private message me and I'll tell you how to do it. Or always, they're just always so helpful.
Yeah. You do Facebook Lives on your public page, and then you've even done Facebook Lives on my page as well. So
Mm-hmm.
tell people where they can find you on Facebook if they want to go catch you live, because you said you do lives every week.
I do lives every week. I used to do it consistently on Thursdays, but now I'm a caretaker for three of my family members,
Mhm.
my mom and dad and my brother
Mhm.
now. So I just kind of have to do it when I do it.
Yeah.
But Young at Heart Creations. So Young at Heart Creations, that's my Facebook page. And also you can find me on YouTube. I have, since Facebook's making some changes, I've been downloading my videos over there. So you can also, catch me over there. Haven't done a live yet on YouTube. I'm not sure how to do that yet, but that's what I'm working on next, is to learn how to do that. So we're getting there.
Well, that was going to be my next question. I was going to say, what's next in your painting journey and what are your big dreams or goals? And so, saying that you're getting on YouTube, I know that's a big step for you because, like you said, you're not techie. And
Oh,
so,
I'm
learning how to
not.
do this stuff is really helping you grow.
Not only am I not techie, but my helper, Mr. Pam, is what they all call him. But my husband's name is David. But he is working now full time, and so he's always been my helper, my tech person. And I'll go whatever, he come do this, come push this button, do whatever you got to do. Well, he's not here during the day anymore for me to do that, so I'm having to make myself learn how to do that. And I'm surprising myself. There's more I can do than what I thought I could do. So
Yes, you're doing
I'm
great.
getting there.
So, what are your goals for this year besides?
Um, well, I had not intended on doing a membership, but my followers on my page are encouraging me and pushing me to do a membership. There's a lot to do. I feel so obligated. If you do a membership, you need to be there for for the family, for that club.
Yeah.
Just, like you are, you're always showing up, you're always there. And it makes me a little nervous being a caretaker for a caregiver for
Hmm.
three people. I don't want to let them down. And then the technical part of it, but I'm trying to work through that. And so many people in the Painters Clubhouse have, do follow my page as well,
Hmm.
and they're going, come on, PC sister, you can do this. It doesn't have to be all perfect. Start here and work up. And so they're pushing me to do it. That was not on my radar at all. And they're asking for a membership. So I think I would be crazy not to. I've just got to work
Would
out
be.
some logistics. So
Yeah.
that's one of the big goals, is to do that.
Well, I will say when I started this membership back in March of 20, I started April 2018. I had that fear of, oh, this is a big commitment because I'm
Very good.
setting myself up to show up and I have to keep that promise. I'm going to show up and teach every month and and I thought, what if I get tired of door hangers in 6 months and burn out and decide I'm done? And I laugh at that thought now because there are so many ways to make door hangers fun and interesting. And I mean, I am just as proud of this door hanger right here as the first one that I ever did. I mean, I continue to learn new painting skills and new techniques, and it's never gotten boring. So, knowing what you are able to do with embellishments and napkinizing and all the cool stuff that you know how to do, you will never get bored of it. I know, Miss Pam, and you are very good at giving to your community. If anything, you'll probably have a problem of giving too much and not like taking enough time off for yourself. So I know those ladies that do end up signing up for your membership will be very blessed.
Well, that's been a huge encouragement to me as well, watching you, because you're not afraid to say, "Oh, I don't know how to do that, but let's figure it out."
Yeah.
And I have watched you from the first time I watched you, your first videos years ago. You have come so far with your painting, your skills. I mean, you
Yeah.
have grown and you're still growing. And that just goes to show me, because we look at you as celebrity status.
And I'm just a,
I,
a
I
mom over
don't
here hitting
anymore.
buttons and trying to figure it out.
But a lot of us do think of that and like, she's just got it. She just knows how to do everything,
I
and
don't.
it's just so easy for her. But you show us that it just takes practice, and it just shows doing it. Just jump in there and do it. It's just paint. We can paint over it,
Yeah.
and you've done some things on your lives. You go, "Ooh, I don't like how that turned out. We need to change it." You don't mind showing us that, hey, you make mistakes too, or you make changes that you need, things that you need to change, and we've learned from that so much, and that's all the clubhouse is about, is just learning from each other.
Yes.
And we definitely have, and the friendships, I just cannot tell you how wonderful the friendships are, to have somebody you can call up and that knows exactly what you're talking about when you're saying, I need to shade with this angle brush, but I really need to do this. And they'll go, well, yeah, try this. They know I can say that to David and he'll go, what do you
Yeah.
mean angle brush? So it's
Yeah.
nice to have others that understand you and know where you're coming from.
Yeah. If you've got a very specific like thing you're passionate about, like painting, door hangers, there might not be somebody in your life that understands that and gets as excited
Mhm.
about it as you do. So to have a community that you can connect to that is going to get so excited about your project, just like you are, is invaluable.
It is. And I love teaching. The teaching part of it, I think, is more fun to me than any of it. I love and enjoy the painting, but teaching it and seeing like that lady, just blossom, and the look on her face when she was so proud of what she did, and which made me in turn proud. Okay, I was able to share that with
That's
someone.
why I encourage so many of my Painters Clubhouse members to try teaching paint parties
Mhm.
because not only is it going to make you a lot of money and help you, offset some of your costs with your crafts and things like that, it's going to really fill your cup. I know what it feels like to see that reaction on somebody's face who's never painted before, create something. And you don't have to be the best teacher. You can just be one step ahead of the person sitting at your table and you can help them through the project. And so I think everybody should try it at least once.
Oh, I do too. And it's, and if you're nervous about getting in front of them doing it, make a video of yourself
Mhm.
teaching it and then walk through it with them the first time. The Let's see, when is it, in October that we're going to your live event?
Yes.
And then the cruise also. But I felt a little guilty spending the money for that, because we were both retired. David was going to go to back to work about a year after he retired. Ended up
Mhm.
being 3 years, but because we ended up moving and new
Yeah.
house and everything. But so he's just gone back to work. But so I thought, I don't want to spend. That's a lot of money, but
Yeah.
I can't not go. So I just had a couple of paint parties, and guess what? I paid for it with those paint parties.
Yeah.
I had paint parties, and I would have never done that before Painters Clubhouse. I just didn't have the confidence in myself,
Mhm.
to do that, and that has helped me, watching other women have paint parties and them talking about it and showing different tips and techniques, and then all the things that you've told us. And so now having a paint party to me is nothing. In fact, I'm having one in my home. Never had one in my home, and I'm inviting strangers, what would have been strangers, but are now, some of my best friends. And
Yeah.
we're going to have a paint party in May here in my home. And I've had one at a restaurant recently
Mhm.
here in Sherman. I've never done that before. I just went up to the owner and said, here's what I want to do. And you're going to make some money off of your meals, because we're
Yeah.
going to buy meals from you. And so now I've got a place to go in town. Uh,
Fantastic. Yeah, if you can get a good relationship with like a restaurant owner in your town,
mhm.
that goes a long way because finding groups of people who want to have a party isn't that difficult, but finding the location for where they can have that party sometimes is the challenge. I've done them in a lot of church fellowship rooms,
Mhm.
lots of restaurants and things like that. I've done it in garages, at campgrounds. I mean, anywhere that we can set
Well,
up a
I
table,
would have
we'll do it.
never thought about going to a restaurant owner, but somebody in Painter's Clubhouse
Mhm.
mentioned that and said it's a great place to go, and because they're going to make money. And he didn't even charge me for the room, and he
No,
typically charges for the room. He said, "Nope, if you'll just buy your meals from me, then." And I would have never thought about that, but somebody in Painter's Clubhouse gave us that idea, and it worked great.
sometimes they'll even help you advertise for your party if you're,
Yes.
if it's open registration, especially if it's on a night when they're usually a little slow, and they want to
Hmm.
generate some business. So that's a great
Well,
idea.
and I go. I don't remember who it was in Painter's Clubhouse, but it was a PC sister. And she said, one of the best ways to advertise is everywhere you go, hand out a card or
Yeah.
do this. So, I'm in my dentist chair and she's working in my mouth and I'm pulling out a card. I'm going, I forgot to give you this card. And she said, really? Well, what do you do? 3 weeks later, I had a paint party for her entire office.
Wow.
They did it as a team building project. And, so somebody in Painter's Clubhouse gave us that idea and got us a $500 party out of that.
Yeah.
Um, two
Paid
blocks from
your
my
dental
house.
bill, didn't it?
It did. It did. So, there's just always something in there that you're going to learn life things, not just painting things, but we're always there for each other when we're having downtimes. Life happens
Yeah.
and we all have things that we struggle with, and we're there for prayer. We're there for encouragement. We all know we can pick up the phone or text or whatever each other, and we're going to be there for each other.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on here today and talking a little bit about your painting journey and how you came to be a Painters Clubhouse member. You're a very valued member of our community. Your name is a household name here in our house. I told my husband this morning I was getting ready to go interview Pam Savage. He said, "Why did you say it like I don't know her?" He said, "I know exactly who that is." I said, "Well, if I just said Pam, you might say Pam who."
Well, and that's another thing before we go, that has been so wonderful to watch you start this yourself.
Mhm.
And it is now a 100% family business for you, and to watch your family grow and everybody does something in one way or another. Charlie is the upcoming Miss Tamara, I think, in years
I
to
think
come.
so too.
But just to see everybody pitch in, and it's just refreshing to see that. And I love that there's never ever any profanity or negativity or anything on your lives or in the group. You don't allow negativity.
Right.
If you're a negative person, I will say it's not the group for you, because
Yeah.
there's none. It's just not in there.
Yeah.
So it's just a wonderful, encouraging place to be.
Well, thank you, Miss Pam. I appreciate you coming and letting me interview you for a moment.
All righty. Well, you have a great day, and I'll see you on the cruise. I'm bringing a life jacket.
I think they have life jackets on the cruise for you, but
Okay.
okay.
All
Yes,
right.
go follow Miss Pam at Young at Heart Creations on Facebook and
All
YouTube.
right. Thanks, Tamara. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.